Hey friends, welcome to the channel. Today in this video we are going to solve the final problem of week 8 of CS50, which is homepage. So to see the requirements, the very first thing we'll do is we'll come to this particular website, which is cs50.harvard.edu x25 PSet 8. If you're watching this video in 2026, make sure to change the year, that should be 6. Once you're here, homepage is the problem that we're going to solve. So click on homepage, and once you come here, what you will see is all the requirements are listed below. The specifications are as follows. We need to have at least 4 HTML files. Similarly, we have to have at least 10 distinct HTML tags besides these 4, right? And also, if we use the same tag multiple times, that will still be counted as one tag, right? Also, we have to integrate Bootstrap in our website, and we have to style our website. And then finally, we have to use JavaScript in our website, right? The last thing is we have to have a specification.txt file where we will list all the tags and properties that we have used, and we have to explain how we decided to use JavaScript and Bootstrap in our website. Once you have understood the requirements, what we will do is on the left we'll click on Visual Studio Code. You can command click or control click to open it in a new tab. Once you do that, this is the page that you will see. Click on login and log in with your Grip account. Once you do log in, this is the page that you will see. Let me do this. So if you've been following all the videos that we've made previously, you will have all the folders already. So the very first thing that we'll do is we will navigate into week 8 because we are keeping everything organized. And once we are here, let's do ls. That will give us the folders and files that are here. And right now we only have trivia, so we'll come back to the requirements. And if you go up, what you will see is we have a starter code basically. So we'll triple click here to copy everything, and then Control C to copy, come back here, Control V or Command V, and that will give you a .zip file, right? So what we'll do now is, let me say clear first. That will clear the terminal. And now what we will do is we'll unzip this zip file. So I'll say unzip homepage.zip, press enter, and that will give us a folder, right? Now let's get rid of the zip file because we don't need that anymore. So I'll say rm homepage.zip, press enter. It will ask, are you sure? Yes, we are. So we'll type y and press enter. And now let's navigate into homepage. If we do that, and if I say ls, it will show us all the files that we have. We currently have index.html, style.css. So let's go into index.html. And now if we want to see the changes that we are making, the easiest thing to do is to say http://server. Press enter, hyphen as in just minus sign. Once you press enter, what you will see is it will basically run a server for us, and it will give us a link to follow. As you can see, here is the link. You can either select it and open it in a new tab, or you can just hold command or control and click on it. That will open whatever website that we have in a new tab. Alright, as you can see, this is the current file that we have, index.html, style.css. So we'll click here, index.html, and this is the only visible thing that we have, right? So let me do this. I will open it side by side in the page that we have. And alright, so this is the page that we have. First, I'll change the title of the website. I'll call it Suraj C. And then let me create 4 other files, as in 3 other files, because we already have index.html. I'll call this about.html, contact.html, now.html. Okay, we have 4 HTML files. We have a style.css, and we are primarily working with index.html. So what we will do is, let me get rid of this, and if I save it, come back here and refresh this, we'll not see anything at all, right? Wonderful. So we have to have at least 10 HTML tags. We'll first build the basic structure, and then we will expand to everything. So I'll call it header, and inside header we'll have nav, and inside nav we will have an ordered list, and I'll call this list. So my first element is going to be, or my first menu item is going to be about. So to do that, what we will do is I'll say a for anchor tag, which is basically going to allow us to link to anything. So for now, I just want to go into the same directory, and I want to go to about.html. I'll close this, and here I can say about. If I save this, and if I come back here, refresh this, as you can see, we have our about file here. And if I click on it, I won't see anything because there is nothing to go to. Once we have about, I'll do this, Okay, cool. Let's come back here. Once we have our navigation inside the header, what we would also like to have is, let's just call it h1 for now. Call this maybe just see. This is like the main identity of the website, which is my name, right? Similarly, once we are done with header, what we will want to do is we'll call it main, and here we'll have all the sections and divs and everything. But after main, what we will also want to have is footer, right? And footer normally could have, let's say, copyright 2025 maybe. If I save this, if I come back here, reload it, okay, we have this. And inside section we could have a lot of other things, a lot of divs. Now what we will want to do is we could style it slightly. So I'll come back here, and inside styles.css, just to make sure that it is working, we'll say body, let's say background color black. If I save this, if I come back here, reload it, okay, it is working, perfect. For now, let's remove the background color. Let's make it light again. What I want to do in the very beginning is I want to set the maximum width of the website. If I save this, if I come here, reload this, seems like nothing has happened, right? But if I were to say margin is auto, for example, it will center everything. If I'll save this, come back here, reload it, as you can see, it is kind of working. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is let's first fix our navigation menu. So for that, what we will do is I want to style the nav, but inside the nav, what I want to focus on is the unordered list. What I want to say now is I want to get rid of the bullet points, right? So for that, what I'll say is list style is none. If I save this, if I come here, reload it, the bullet lists are gone. The next thing that I want to try is I want to go inside the link tags, right? So for that, what I'll say is inside nav, go to UL, inside that, go to LI, inside that, go to A, and do this text decoration is none. That will basically get rid of the underlines that we had, right? Once that is done, what I want to do is inside the nav UL, what I want to do is I want to say display flex, and that should allow us to list everything in one line. And then the next thing that I want to do is I want to say nav, and I want to make the entire nav as center. Oh, actually, let's make the header center. Save this, come back here. Okay, that is centered. But also we want the navigation menu to be centered, right? So for that, what we will do is we'll say align items as center, and similarly we'll say justify content as center. Save this, come back here, reload. Okay, that's in the center. And finally we'll say gap, maybe 10 pixels should be enough, hopefully. Okay, let's make it 20. Come back here, reload it. Okay, that looks good to me. I would also like to make our footer center aligned. So let's say text align center. Save it, come back here, reload it. Okay, perfect. Now finally, let's work on the main content that we should have. So for the main content, we will go back to the index.html. Let me close this. And now let's use Bootstrap, right? So what I'll do is I'll search for Bootstrap, press enter. This is the website that you will see. Click on it. If you come back to our website, what you will see is we already have Bootstrap enabled, right? It was given to us in the distribution code that we got. So the very first thing that we will do is we'll go to examples, and we'll go down, and let's go to heroes. Heroes are like the main part. Okay, so which one do we like? Let's say I like this one, right? I could have my photo here, and then I could write something, right? So I'll right click, I'll say inspect. Once you click on inspect, make sure you are on the elements tag, and then you can click on here, the arrow kind of sign. Once you do that, if you hover over anything, you'll basically see the part highlighted. So I wanted this one, right? So I'll click here, and what you will see is if I just scroll slightly up, this is the part that is selected. If I go one up, it selects this gap. We don't want the gap, but we want the main part after that, right? So I don't want this gap, I want this. So what I'll do is I'll right click and I'll say copy and then I'll click on copy element, and that will give us the main code that we need. So inside main, inside sections, I will paste the code that we copied. And if I save this right now, and if I come here and if I reload this, what you will see is we have this thing. Right now it doesn't really look that good because we are zoomed out. We are zoomed in, but if I zoom out slightly, what you will see is this is the thing that we have, right? If you look at our code right now, it's not really that readable because everything is in one line. So I'll go to extensions on the left and I'll download a extension called Prettier. This is the extension that we need. I'll click on install, trust and install, and we'll give it a minute. We'll come here. Let me close this. And if I save this now, hopefully it should work. Didn't work. I'll right click and I'll say format document, configure, and Prettier is what I need. Okay, perfect. So everything is in one line. Wonderful. What I want now is, in the very beginning, I want to change this image, right? So I'll just link to my own image. If you don't have your own photo, what you can do is you can click here and you can basically drag and drop a file, right? But since I already have a photo on the web, I'll say Suraj C, press enter, I'll go to images, or I could just click on my name. I'll scroll down, I'll open this in a new tab, and this should give me the link, right? So I'll copy the link, I'll close this, I'll come back here, and I could just change the image source. If I save it, if I come back here and reload it, we should have my photo here. Great. But the problem right now is this does not really look that good because it appears as a square. So to fix that, first what I could do is I could add a space in the class and I could call it maybe circle photo. And what I could do is I could go to styles.css and I could add this class, which was circle photo, and what I could say is border radius is 50%. Save this, come back here. There we go. It is circle now. Okay, cool. Now let's go back to our index.html and let's change the text that we have. Hi. And then similarly, I could just go back here and I could copy all of this text that I already have and I could paste it here. And what I could also do is I could do this, and if I format this document now, this is what it will appear like. And similarly, let me get rid of the second button that we have over here, and let me have just one button to which I will call read my story, right? I'll just copy the text. If you wanted to come to this website, it's surajc.com. You could also just copy and paste read my story, and then the link that I wanted to have, href, is this. And where do I want to take the user? I want to take them to about.html. So that didn't really work. The reason it didn't work is that this button doesn't really have a link element attached to it, right? So what I'll do is I'll click enter and I'll say href, and then I'll link to our page ./about.html, and then I'll close this and I'll take the closing tag and I'll add it after the button. And if I format this document again, this is what it will appear like. If I come here and reload this, now it will work, right? We came to the about page. Okay, cool. So this seems like a lot of text. Let me just get rid of some of the line, and if I reload this, okay, this looks good. Similarly, what I will also do is I will reduce the size of my photo. That looks a little too big. So width, I'll say 300, and height also 300. Come back here, reload this. Okay, that looks much better. Now let's go back to our Bootstrap website. I'll get rid of this, go back, and now let's say that I wanted to just have features for myself, or basically the languages that I know, for example. So which one do I like? Okay, let's say we like this one, right? So I right click on inspect again, and I'll do the same thing. Click here and then hover over the element that we want. So this is currently the main element, right? Because if I scroll down, if I hover over the next element, it highlights the gap. We don't want the gap, we want this. I'll right click and I'll say copy element, come back to our website, and then if I scroll slightly down, which div are we working with? We have the section, and inside that we have our main thing, right? So I'm looking for section. Okay, this is the section. I'll press enter and I'll paste the code that we copied right now. And if I come here, if I reload this, there we go. So I'll right click, format document. Okay, cool. So it says column with icons. I don't really want the column with icons. What I do want is perhaps technologies. And similarly, what we could also do is Python. And then I could easily get rid of this button that I don't really want, right? And once that is done, what I could also do is do the same thing for the next element. I could change this to JavaScript, and then I could get rid of this button that we have here, React JS. And if I were to save this, come back here and reload this. So right now what you will see is none of these logos are working. And honestly, we could add the logos, but for now I will just leave this be, right? Okay, perfect. So we have some header, we have this, and we have a button that works, right? So what we could do is we could add some style to our website, right? Maybe perhaps some background color. So what I could say is I could search for HTML colors, press enter, and I could go here, and then let's say this is the color that I like. You could, easily adjust the color to your preference. Perhaps this is the color that I like, or maybe even more subtle color. So I'll copy this hex code, I'll close the tab, and then I could say background color as this, save, come here, reload. Okay, that is a little too not subtle. Okay, perhaps this could be a good code. I'll add this, remove the extra pound, save here, reload here. Okay, that looks more manageable. The next thing that I want to do is let's just create very basic style for everything else, right? Perhaps what I could do is for the about page, which is here, if I click on about, okay, right now I cannot see anything, right? But that was one of the requirements, that we should be able to come back to all the other pages from any of the pages, right? If you come to the requirements, what you will see is, and it should be possible to get from any page on the website to any other page, right? So I'll come here, and in the very beginning what I'll do is I'll just copy everything. I'll go to about. Actually, let's go to all the pages, right? So let's start with about. I'll paste everything here, and what I want to get rid of is everything inside section, right, of the main. So everything inside section I get rid of, right? And if I save this, if I go to about, there we go, we have everything here. But what I also want to make sure of is we are linking to the correct page. Here I want to go to index.html. Well, this could work for everything else. Let me just copy this, right? And I could go to contact, paste the same thing, now paste the same thing, and now if I go to any of the pages, it still works, right? So home is where we are at right now. Inside about, what I could do is inside section I could say h1 about paragraph. I am Suraj Chaudhary and this is my web page. Save. If I go to about, there we go. This kind of works. Contact, let's go back to about and let's go to contact.html, and here what we could say is h1 contact. And what I could do is inside the paragraph tag I could say you can contact me by emailing me to this email address, and I could say br to break the line, self-closing tag that is, and then I could say suraj@surajc.com. If I come to contact, there we go, this is here. If I wanted to, I could emphasize this, em, save here, reload this works. And similarly, if I wanted to, I could underline this by using an underline tag. Come here, reload this, there we go, that works. And now let's go to now page. Inside now, what we could also do is we could add an _ tag and say now. So basically this now page is kind of something that I do for my main website. If you go to cdc.com/now, you will see all the things that I'm working on right now. Okay, and inside this I could say P for a paragraph tag, and I could say these are the things that I'm working on right now, right? And then I could say maybe a ordered list, OL, and I could say LI. Okay, what am I working on right now? CS50 videos. Next element, reading books. Next element could be perhaps learning latte art. Save this, come here, click on now, and there we go. This works also. Wonderful. So we have, I think, most of the things that we need. And now what we have to do is we have to create a new file. Oh, but before that we have to create a new button, right? Or basically we have to use JavaScript in some way. The easiest way to do that, as I've seen, is to maybe add a dark mode button, right? So the very first thing that we will do is I'll search for dark mode button HTML, or rather CSS, press enter. And if you go to W3 schools, as you can see, here is the example already. So what we could do is .dark mode is this, right? So I'll copy this style, right? And I'll go back to our style.css all the way to the bottom, and I'll add this. And what I'll also do is I'll say important. Actually the semicolon needs to be at the end. What important will make sure of is that it is applied well, right? So okay, this is done. Background color is this. Similarly, what I also want to do is I want to apply this as important too. Now what we could do is we could add a button somewhere inside header itself. After navigation we could add a new button, and then we could call it maybe darkness. And for button we could say on click, what I want you to do is I want for you to execute a function, and I could say run darkness, and this is basically a JavaScript function, right? I'll come back here, I'll copy this entire thing, and I'll go towards the bottom of the page. Inside the body I'll just say script, and then I will paste this, and I'll call this run darkness. And if I come here, if I reload this, there we go. This is kind of alright because currently we cannot really see this or this, but that is kind of alright. If we had more time we could try to fix it, but this is good for now. Okay, so now let's move on to the next part, which is basically creating a file that we would call specification.txt. So let's do that. Go to homepage, click on new file, and let's call it specification.txt. Actually we are using the following tags, or let's call it tags used. So these are the tags that we are using, and then how will be using this implementation for dark mode. Similarly, Bootstrap implementation. We are using Bootstrap for hero and features. Now this hopefully should work. So to check whether or not it works, we'll come down here and we will try to submit it, because we don't really have a test code here. So in the very beginning, what we will need to do is we'll need to close this, right? We'll need to stop the server that we're running. So we'll say Control-C, and then if you reload this, it will not work. Okay, let's get rid of this particular tab that we have, the preview tab, and I'll clear the screen. I'll paste this, the submit code, and we'll wait for the submit response. Okay, these will be submitted. Why yes, press enter. Go here to see the results. Command click or control click, and what you will see is we got a full point by check 50, which is wonderful, right? So this is how you complete the final problem of week 8 of CS50. If you want to see all the other problem sets, click on the playlist that is going to be displayed on the screen. I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care.